On the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz comes an unprecedented exhibition about one of history's darkest moments. Auschwitz, not long ago, not far away, features more than 500 original objects, first-hand accounts, and survivor testimonies that tell the powerful story of the Auschwitz concentration camp, its history and legacy, and the underlying conditions that allowed the Holocaust to happen. On now exclusively at ROM. Tickets at rom.ca.
Everything's set up for the next one to come in. There's a shower. There's a shower.
That's what it sounded like July 20th for the grand opening of Ottawa's newly renovated community mikveh, a $350,000 makeover of the existing site that first opened about 25 years ago and was named for the late local Ottawa Rabbi Reuben Bulka's first wife, Naomi. Her name will remain on the wall, but there'll be an additional plaque installed soon, Mikveh USA. Here's why. For years, it was the dream of Ottawa teacher and mikveh attendant Dina Teitelbaum to expand the reach of her mikveh and spiff it up to make it more welcoming. But that was simply out of her financial reach. After her mother died a few years ago, she decided to honor her and donated some of her inheritance money towards a mikveh renovation. Then she and her husband, Rabbi Levi Teitelbaum of Ottawa's Kashrut Board, approached some other local sponsors, but it still wasn't enough for all the modern fixtures and renovations. Eventually, the Teitelbaums heard about Mikveh USA. It's a charity in the Borough Park area of Brooklyn that's been helping small Jewish communities around the world with seed grants and the services of a designer and halachic advice. They applied, they were accepted, and now it's got them closer to the finish line. A couple of weeks ago, they held their grand reopening with a catered lunch, speakers, and tours of the changing rooms, the washing station, and the pool itself with its gleaming new tiles, bright lighting, and a spa-like atmosphere. The Ottawa Community Mikveh is the only one operating in the capital with a Jewish community of about 15,000 people. And while just 30 women use the mikveh regularly each month right now, it's hoped more women will take notice and make it part of their routine.
Women who come, who love coming to mikveh, it's just a total different experience now. They come and like, how long can I stay? I don't want to leave. And it's just so welcoming and so comfortable and so beautiful.
I'm Ellen Besner, and this is what Jewish Canada sounds like for Wednesday, August 6th, 2025. Welcome to North Star, a podcast of the Canadian Jewish News. It's made possible thanks to the generous support of the Ira Gluskin and Maxine Granovsky-Gluskin Charitable Foundation. Visitors to mikvahs immerse themselves in the ritual bath to follow the Jewish laws of family purity. That includes brides-to-be, but also women who visit after their menstruation. Some men also visit mikvahs too. It's not clear exactly how many mikvahs there are in Canada, although one website called mikveh.org lists 43. So if that's correct, then Mikveh USA has now helped fund nearly 25% of them, about 1 in 4, including renovating Ottawa's mikveh, the mikveh at Hamilton's Adass Israel, London's Beth Tefillah congregation, the Bayit in Thornhill, the Village Shul on Eglinton in Toronto, Chabad of Markham's, plus building completely new ones at the Country Shul in Richmond Hill and in Quebec City, and soon an over $2 million triple community mikveh in Saint-Agathe-des-Monts, north of Montreal. One for men, one for women, and one for dishes. You won't want to miss our interview about that later in this episode. But first, here's my conversation with the team behind Ottawa's mikveh, Dina Teitelbaum and Rabbi Levi Teitelbaum, who got $100,000 from Mikveh USA.
Hello, nice to be with you.
Well, congratulations on the rededication of the mikveh for the city of Ottawa. What specifically needed fixing and sprucing up, as well as technologically or plumbing-wise even?
So the mikveh is about 25 years old. It was very user-friendly, clean, but it really needed an upgrade. And my husband and I were in touch with the JCC, And we decided that this would be a very worthwhile project. And that's where it started. And thank God, with many wonderful donors, it's becoming a reality.
I think mikvahs have become a lot more beautiful in recent decades. And of course, it's not just to create a spa, it's to create rather a spa feel, a place with dignity and spirituality both at the same time. So it was functional, but it kind of resembled a pool inside. It had the same tiles and it kind of mimicked the same decor. So what this does now is it simply makes it extremely beautiful.
It was not an issue with health or what have you, right? It was just out of style.
Correct.
And I know in other parts of Canada, it's become more of an event for younger women to come and do kind of events. Maybe, Reverend Dina, you could tell us what the plan is or what have you been doing since it got spruced up?
Well, we're trying to raise awareness of the importance of mikvah in Jewish life. And we've had multiple tours since we renovated. And we're trying to add more classes and bring more people in. And hopefully, women will be excited and want to be part of this important mitzvah.
And what do you hope might be the numbers once they know more about it?
So we currently have around 45 women in Ottawa who use a mikveh, but monthly it's more like 30 because many women don't use the mikveh if they're nursing or pregnant. So it's an average about 30 women a month. And we're really hoping that those numbers shoot up.
What's the sort of target market for you guys?
It is a women's mikveh. There are certain exceptions, if someone or a conversion or maybe before a holiday, but the mikveh is a women's mikveh, and of course that's the focus.
Is there no demand for men to use it in Ottawa? Or would you like to see something?
Yes, I would very much like to. That would be a separate project, and hopefully in the future another story that you can do.
It's a date. How did you get connected with this Mikveh USA to help you?
This project started in our minds a few years ago, and we always had this desire to make it more beautiful. Of course, funds, things are so expensive. We heard about Mikveh USA. We contacted them and understood what it is that they look for in a community, and we wrote an application and we explained that we are the only mikveh in Ottawa. And from the beginning, they were very just the admiration of the small community and trying to help. We really created a bond, and I think that helped a lot with the application. But the donors that donate to Mikveh USA, they want to hear about the community, so they also call. And one person wanted to see pictures of Jewish life in Ottawa. They wanted to see what they're in a sense investing in. From what I understand, these aren't like multi-millionaires that just give millions of dollars and say spend it how you want.
Yeah, just put my name on it.
Yeah, they take a project and they say, okay, I want to donate the changing room, the bar, the pool. That becomes their thing. There's chut, and it's actually a beautiful thing. It gave me such a greater respect when I found out that these aren't necessarily very very wealthy people, but for them, they're giving a $10,000 donation to Mikveh USA to make something happen, and that becomes a special bond that they have with our community now.
What did it mean that the donations had to come from Americans in terms of raising it locally? Like, what challenges do you had to make this project happen locally that then Mikveh USA was able to help with?
So I for the time when the money was coming in happened at a very good time with our dollar and their dollar. So the money actually went quite a bit further, which we were very fortunate. I would say that apart from Mikveh USA, they want to see investment from our own community. That's one of the requirements, which of course makes sense. And we made a small list just at our dinner table one day of who we could approach, and the readiness and the easiness of how it went. I mean, of course, we're still shy some of the money that we still need to raise, but the bulk that we were able to achieve in such an easy way, thank God. I'd say the entire amount was about 350,000, and that's just a renovating. The structure was there, but it was totally gutted. We raised, I think it was 125 or 150,000 Canadian from local. The rest came from not that much on our credit card, but the rest came from either Mikveh USA or for people that helped out with small donations.
What does it look like now, and what does it feel like compared to what people may have seen in the past?
We had Mikveh USA helped us connect with a Mikveh designer, and literally every detail she chose, from the tiles to the doorknobs, and there's no comparison from what it used to be to what it is today. It's just a total different experience now. People just feel so good about coming to the Mikveh. We do have a couple of women who come from Kingston, Ontario. They say it's closer than going to Toronto and less hectic, the traffic, and they're happy to come. They usually ask for their earliest appointment, but they come monthly.
It occurred to me that Mikveh USA has now maybe a dozen almost projects across Canada which they're involved with. There's a lot that they're doing. And I'm wondering, what does this say to you? Is that an issue at all, that the money has to come from the States because, Canada can't sustain this themselves?
It's an interesting question. I guess the real question is why is it still called Mikveh USA? It should be called Mikveh USA in Canada. I would say it's a beautiful thing that people want to help. I don't see so much the actual border as being a something divisive where people say, I'm going to support closer to home, although that does kind of make sense. I think that people simply want to help, and I think the advantage of helping a small community, one more mikveh in Brooklyn is a beautiful thing, but is that really necessary? But if you can help one mikveh in Ottawa or smaller communities, that really makes a difference to Judaism in that area.
So, what is the importance of having these mikvahs in Canada? What do you think Canadians should take from this?
Mikveh people, they believe that this is one of the tenets of Judaism, and it's right up there that if you have a synagogue, that you need to buy a Torah, your first Torah, or establish a mikveh. The mikveh comes first. So it's really up there as far as what a Jewish community is all about. This is not something that's just measurable by how many people you have, how many people you are able to check off. It's not just the quality over the quantity, but of course, once you had that, then it's that propels you to do one more. So that next generation is now fortified with that beautiful mitzvah behind them that propels them. And that mikveh goer now brings one more person to the fold and enables a little bit more of that mitzvah to carry forward.
Tell me a bit about your family's yichus and your mom's work, what she did.
So my parents were shluchim, sent from Lubavitch Rebbe to Boston. Grew up in a pretty small community then. There were lots of Jews, but their home was a Chabad house. And my mother was just always very passionate about the mitzvah of Taras Mishpacha, a family purity. And with the Rebbe's encouragement, she gave classes throughout New England. And she was the main mikvah attendant, and she just put her whole heart and soul into it. And just growing up and always seeing my mother giving classes one-on-one, just hearing how she was so loved by the women in the community, just always warmed my heart. And it was something that I was so happy that I was able to carry on. We first lived in Vancouver. I was the mikvah manager in, this was Richmond, a suburb of Vancouver. And then in Ottawa, as soon as we moved here 20 years ago, I first became an attendant. And it's just something I'm just so privileged to be part of. I try to make it as warm and as welcoming and place for women to come.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I see how emotional that is. You said that they had people, a designer who helped you with everything, right?
So I'm a first grade teacher, so I was not available to go around with her. But both my husband and one of my daughters, they went from store to store with her, and their input was included in the design.
Only good wishes for a successful part 2.0 when the men get one.
I mean, thank you. You're very kind.
On the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz comes an unprecedented exhibition about one of history's darkest moments. Auschwitz, Not Long Ago, Not Far Away, features more than 500 original objects, first-hand accounts, and survivor testimonies that tell the powerful story of the Auschwitz concentration camp, its history and legacy, and the underlying conditions that allowed the Holocaust to happen. On now exclusively at ROM. Tickets at rom.ca.
While the Ottawa Mikveh still is looking to raise about $30,000, the founders of the new community Mikveh in St. Agathe-des-Monts are still fundraising, and they need nearly $400,000. They got $300,000 US from Mikveh USA. The St. Agathe Mikveh is attached to the Congregation House of Israel. To find out more, we're joined by Chana Karlebach. She's a Mikveh USA educator and influencer, and her husband, Rabbi Emmanuel Karlebach.
We're so glad to be here.
Great to be here.
Can you start by telling our listeners what stage is it at now?
Well, it's almost finished. We're here in St. Agathe almost 40 years, and it's been a dream of ours for a very, very long time. And we're actually hoping that by August 12th, which is my daughter's wedding, that she will be the first one to be able to use the mikvah. So there's a couple of things that still need to be in place to make that happen. You know, the whole time it was like, oh my gosh, where is this most important building? And finally, we are so proud to be able to use it to service all of the Laurentians and our visitors that come in the summertime and whoever else is going to find themselves in our area.
So when you moved there, what did you do for mikvahs? For yourselves and your community, where did they go?
So Montreal, actually, most people went to Montreal. There was a mikvah that would open on the weekends, but it's a winter mikvah, and it's really an hour away walk for us. So we were lucky that it would open on the weekends if necessary. But there hasn't been a mikvah always available because that mikvah is not always available. And we're going to be the first mikvah that will be able to be open year round. And it says actually that a city without a mikvah is like a city of stones and pebbles. But even a small city that has a mikvah becomes a big city because Hashem, who is great, comes and joins the city when he sees that the people care so much about the purity of the Jewish people, and Hashem comes and joins that place. So like we said, you know, little St. Agathe has become like a great city now because of the mikvah.
If I can add,
Yeah, sure, please jump in.
you know, this area has pockets of Jewish communities that in the summertime, they all come up and they really build for their own everything that they need. So we're not going to be the first mikvah in the Laurentians, but their mikvahs really don't open except for the times they're there. And then again, it's to suit the community there. This problem of not having a community mikveh in the Laurentians was something that Chani and I felt was something we have to address, and for many, many, many years.
And it's also for the young people who, let's say, would not come up Friday night because there was no mikvah.
I think you might be the biggest one that I've heard of. Is it correct that I read that there some 300 people use the mikvah or will?
Well, we have more. We have about 800 families who belong to our synagogue. And of course, we have in the summertime tons of visitors. So we have a lot of people and a lot of communities around us. And our goal is to bring this beautiful, incredible mitzvah to the people who don't yet know about it. We've had incredible support of people who actually never stepped into the mikvah, didn't know what a mikvah is all about, even though it is becoming more famous in the world. And when they would come in, they said, whoa, like this is so beautiful. I was never in a mikvah. And the greatest part of all of this is bringing it to those who don't yet know about it.
Is it for the men too, Rabbi?
So it's funny you say that. So originally, the plan of the mikvah was to do phases and to address first the women, which is the most important. But thanks to the support of so many people and the people who believed in this project when we approached them, and thanks to Mikveh USA as well, we have taken the task to do all phases at one time. So we've built a women's mikveh. We've built a men's mikveh, totally separate, and we've done a third part to it, and that is a dish mikveh. And we call it a Tahara Center, Merkaz tahara, which means it's a center of purity, which represents all three mikvaot. And we know it's going to bring just so much bracha and so much growth to ourselves and to our families.
And although it's not biblical for men, it's customary for men. For women, it is biblical. And of course, without mikvah, one cannot resume intimacy or physical touch with their husband until a woman has immersed in the mikvah. The idea of the Tara Center actually came from Mikveh USA when we were talking with them. And we're so happy we did it because, many people who come up north, and that was the thought in the beginning, said, like, why do we need a mikvah? There's a natural lake.
Right.
So first of all, we have a problem with the winter. Second of all, the problem with lakes in the summertime are also people don't always feel comfortable because there are houses around, especially our lake. But the most important thing is that most natural lakes, according to the experts in Mikvah, actually it's about 98 or 99% of natural lakes are no longer kosher for immersion, for a woman to immerse. For men, yes, not for a woman, and also not for dishes. And the reason for that is that most natural lakes have dams in them. And the dam actually causes that the waters are invalid for mikveh use because they are no longer considered natural waters because they are controlled by the dams at times. In Israel, too, there's many, many natural lakes that people have been using. And then they found out that there are actually dams and it invalidates the waters for mikvah. Most natural lakes are not kosher for mikvah or dishes because dishes have to be immersed in a mikvah that is kosher for women.
I did not know that, so it's helpful. I want to just end on some of the Mikveh USA technicalities. How much input did you have in the design?
We had full involvement in it. Of course, everything that we did with the instructions, guidelines of Mikveh USA and other rabbonim as well, in order to include their regulations, but also to do it right and to include all the communities. When you build a mikvah, there are, like everything in Judaism, various opinions to what you do. And in order to make sure that this mikvah represents all of Israel, we made sure to go that extra gallon of water, we would say that term, that extra drop, to make sure that every community's hidur, which means their
Customs.
their customs or their regulations, their halachic requirements is included in this mikvah.
So give me like an example.
So there are different opinions to where the rainwater should be located, which facilitates the mikveh itself. Now, some hold that the bore for this rainwater should be on the side. Some hold that the bore of this rainwater should be at the bottom.
The bar is where you gather the rain waters, the pit.
So for this reason, we have gone through the expense to build all the bores in that one mikvah. It's costly, but we did it for one reason. You come here and you speak to your rabbi, you're going to see that we built this mikvah according to the standards of your rabbi.
And that's also one of the requirements of Mikveh USA, so that it covers all of the communities to be able to use it. And they're an incredible organization, and I truly believe that they have changed the face of mikvah going and enhancing the mitzvah and understanding the mitzvah. And I don't know any organization has done as much work. There are other organizations that do help with the building of the mikvah, and do give funds, which is just awesome. I really want to give them a great thank you for changing the face of mikvah all over the world and really helping people to appreciate what an awesome mitzvah it is.
Why couldn't people in Canada raise the money? Why do we need to go to an American source to do all this?
I mean, building a mikvah is very expensive.
How much was yours?
2
It's over 2 million.
And when we started out, we thought it was going to be about 1 million. And a lot of times women who go and they think like some mikvahs could charge 18, 25, even 50 in out of town places. And people say like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. How can we spend, like, what are they taking so much money for a mitzvah? But the thing is, I always try to explain to people, when a woman gives whatever amount that is, she's only not even covering the upkeep or the woman who's there just to help you in, to supervise, the cleaners who's going to clean up, because all the mikvahs are kept like meticulously because we want women to like love it and come and that it's beautiful. So it's like, hello, no, you should understand. It's just like a token to participate. And of course, there is never a woman who is turned away. Like we actually have a fund. I run a Facebook group which is Jewish Women Talk About Intimacy for women who can't afford it. And also when people see that an organization is willing to give so much money just to build a mikvah in a place where they don't know, and there are people, doing that, it's like, 1 minute, if they're willing to give, why am I not giving? And it really does motivate people to give.
In many communities, you would have to compromise perhaps on the mikveh because there's just a reality of funds to some people until there's really one organization out there that says, look, this is not only a priority, but it's also a priority how you do it. And actually, one success from one side could bring more success to your own as well, seeing that from someone totally from the outside. And we've experienced that ourselves. So that's number one. But thank God we've had like a real partnership. This grant definitely helped us, but it's only a partial part of the cost of the mikvah. And
I would say that grant motivated us to start. Like if we didn't know we were getting that grant, I think we would have been afraid to take on such a big obligation. We did not know at all where the money was coming from. And they really helped us to start and to get it. And many, many mikvahs would not be able to exist without their financial help.
Our feeling was we wanted to build a mikvah that should be the pride, that people should say, wow, this is what you call a mikvah. State of the art, something beautiful, that someone should say, gee, I know nothing about it. Maybe I should go in.
And I always say that a community that respects, honors, and treasures its women is the community that is going to build beautiful mikvahs.
Thank you both so much for sharing this. Congratulations.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And that's what Jewish Canada sounds like for this episode of North Star, made possible thanks to the generous support of the Ira Gluskin and Maxine Granovsky Gluskin Charitable Foundation. We reached out to Mikveh USA for an interview to ask more about their foray into Canada's mikveh network, but they didn't reply before we went to air. To find out more about the mikvahs in our show, go to our links in our show notes. North Star is produced by Zachary Judah Kaufman and Andrea Varsany. Our executive producer is Michael Freeman, and the music is by Brett Higgins. Thanks for listening.
On the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz comes an unprecedented exhibition about one of history's darkest moments. Auschwitz, not long ago, not far away, features more than 500 original objects, first-hand accounts, and survivor testimonies that tell the powerful story of the Auschwitz concentration camp, its history and legacy, and the underlying conditions that allowed the Holocaust to happen. On now exclusively at ROM. Tickets at rom.ca.